Ivy Valentine subscribes to Mark Yoon, so should you. Enjoy your treat!
What's up, people? It's Mark Yoon. Today I want to talk about something that is kind of close to me, but I want to actually do it in a non-ranty sort of way. I just want to talk about it and open up the discussion about this. So it's basically about single-player content in fighting games in particular. And I think this is important to a lot of people, not just myself. I've done several polls on this. I've asked my Discord community. I've even opened it up to chat before. And the community seems to be pretty split about it, but there's multiple reasons why, but I just want to make the case for it, okay? So without going on too much, I just want to jump right into it with a preface of, I understand that a lot of people that play fighting games only play for the online versus in ranked modes. That's completely cool. That's your decision. Not even that's your decision. Like I said before, the esports community and the online personage of these games is what drives it forward. They are pretty much a marketing team without doing any marketing. So I think that they're also beta testers because they're testing the waters for netcodes. They're looking for errors and balance patches to be future updates and infinites and all kinds of stuff that they're really important for. That's not without saying. This is covering the other side of it. So I've heard from a lot of people, and these are just like the best case arguments that I think I have for single player in Street Fighter. Now, the reason I'm bringing this video up is because of the recent, I guess, an update or news saying that the Street Fighter 6 parts are going to be split amongst 3 to save storage space for those who don't want to play the single player content pretty much. And how I was making an argument that in the next iteration of whatever game or whatever fighting games come out after this, they're going to look at that data and say that single player isn't that important, so therefore they're not going to put it in their games. Now, mind you, we're still going to be getting charged $70, $80 for these games if there's no single player content. But if you're one of those people that only plays online and only plays ranked, that's awesome. I play ranked online too. I used to compete in Tekken, but it doesn't mean that I don't want to have a relaxed day by myself and just play some single player content. Now, let's get the bad arguments out of the way, because I've heard some bad arguments in the comment section, just play something else. Screw you. I can play whatever the hell I want, and a lot of those are coming from younger people too. It's listen, you don't understand when fighting games were really not a commonplace thing. We're talking Super Nintendo, we're talking Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, we're talking Mortal Kombat 1, we're talking games from back in that era, up to PlayStation 1 generation. We didn't have online, we had local tournaments and stuff like that, so we needed something else to keep us occupied because fighting games wasn't really as big as a momentum thing as it is now. Another bad argument that I want to get out the way is gatekeeping. People saying that well, you should not really be playing this if that's what you're looking for. And it's I'm looking for multiple things. I want to play a good fighting game too. I want good mechanics. I want balance. I want updates to the characters. I want a big roster. I want a diverse roster of people who do different things, with whether it be zoners or grapplers or hand-to-hand or weapon style users. I want all that in a game. It's awesome. But there's a lot of reasons why story is super important to not only to people, but for the games themselves. If you are taking away everything, and you're saying that I just want to play for the game's mechanics, I just want to play for how good the game is when it comes to balance and whatnot, then you might as well take away all character design, because that tells a story also. So you might as well have one choice for each person, just a one stick figure guy or whatever, and go at it with all the best balance mechanics in the world on a training stage that has no character or personality, and be all the fun. Pay $70 for it. That's on you. But when you're saying that story is not important, you're also including that stuff. You're saying that character design is not important. Stage design is not important. These are all wrapped in with themes of the characters. They each tell a history. As a comic book artist, when I'm designing a character, I'm designing them in mind with giving the reader hints about their past in their design. You're giving them somewhat of an abridged backstory as to who this person is and what their character is. And a lot of people latch onto certain characters because they like personality traits that they see within that character. Maybe they see themselves in that character. And there's a lot of similarities that they want to actually see this character grow. They want to grow with this character. They want to see them get to the end of their journey. They want to experience the entire hero's journey or evil's legacy or whatever it is, right? That's just one of the small little examples I can give you just based off of character design. Like if you're talking about stages in particular also, like what happened to that stage? Why are they fighting in this stage? What is this stage like? What does it represent? Like why is it important to those characters? That's like going into like the Naruto games and saying like the final battle stage is just a stage. Like it holds extreme significance, and anybody who even sees that stage who watched the anime knows all the context. So there's a lot of variables that come into play with that. And then if we're talking story in particular, like if one of the comments I kept seeing a lot is like, this is Street Fighter, we don't care about story, we only care about the fighting. Well, I'll tell you why that's bull, because like if people didn't care about Street Fighter's story, there wouldn't be official comics, there wouldn't be other merchandise, there wouldn't be an anime, multiple anime movies, there wouldn't be OVAs, there wouldn't be like character endings in the arcade. There wouldn't be any of that if people didn't care about the characters or the story or where it was headed or going. It's not just a little bonus reward. Like if you care so much about like frame rate issues and training modes and discovering infinite combos and stuff like that, that's all well on you. But like when I choose a character, 9 times out of 10 it's because I like the character and then I learned that character. Case in point would be Spawn and Jade in Mortal Kombat 11. I think both of those are like some of my favorite characters. Like I'm always good with Liu because Liu hardly ever changes. But Spawn was a new character and I had to get to know him. Spawn really is what got me back into Mortal Kombat 11, and I was horrible with him at first. Like, but just because he was that character, it made me go to training, it made me go to labs, it made me go online and test against ranked. It made me do all these things to connect the bond between me and this character that would make the wins more precious. It would make the victories and the losses like feel all the more, because when it comes down to it, a lot of what gaming is escapism and it's emergence, right? You want to immerse yourself in this, you want to forget the outside world and just kick back and have fun. It's not like the old Xbox days where we're all just like cursing each other out and like being like using racial slurs at each other just because we lost a Call of Duty lobby. Like it's like a movie that you control. That's basically what it is. And people watch movies for different reasons. People play games for different reasons. And for you to qualify something as saying like when you're representing yourself in a comment, that eternally will piss me off. If I see anybody say like, we don't like this, I'm saying, who are you? Because like, just say I. It's so simple. It's like even one less character in the English language. It's so easy just to say I, because your opinion does not represent everybody, like for sure. Like you can tell that from the comments themselves as like diverse and split as they are. Okay, now let's talk about main things about story, okay? When you have a story mode, a single player story mode that allows you to take a character or multiple characters and go throughout an actual overarching plot to get to some point in the end, some justification for the battles to take place, then you actually see not only them, but like the relationships they're garnering along the way, the friendships they're making, the enemies they're encountering, the enemies' reasons for doing what they're doing, which can make them far more sadistic than they actually are. There's like so many things in the story that will get you into that character. Like going through and seeing like Ken Masters get everything from like 5. He's like happy, he's got his wife, he's got his daughter, like he's on the road to happiness. And then all of a sudden now he like looks seemingly homeless and like people are chasing after him and he's been like and everybody like is after him. It's like how they just took this character that you actually care about, took everything from him. You're not mad about that? You don't want to be that character more? You don't want to get revenge for Ken and see the end of his plot and get that happy ending and not know that he's just wearing like Kanye West fashion outfits in the game because like he wants to? Like, this is ridiculous, like, that we're even having to talk about this, but like, story is important for the fact that like the game wouldn't exist without the story. That's just all there is to it. Like, if you're talking about, we're just going back to Street Fighter 1 days where you get like 8 characters and like they all like do stuff. Like I said, even their character like stages and their intros and their animations at the end of an arcade, that all tells a story. But having single player content is just as important. Not everybody wants to play online all the time. Not everybody wants to verse all the time. There's times when my friends are online playing the same game that I'm playing and I just don't want to talk, I don't want to play with them. Like, I just want to relax by myself, have a couple beers and go through a story. So I'll play Libra of Souls on Soul Calibur. Or I'll just go through some of the towers on Mortal Kombat. Or I will, like, it's just a reason, it's like, I play it just the same reason as you play anything else. It's ridiculous to me. Like, I got a comment that said, like, play something else, and I'm just like, who are you? Like, who are you? First of all, like, I'll probably kick your ass in the game that, like, you're telling me not to play. So, like, the fact that you, like, think that you're above everybody else by lecturing me on an opinion that I have is, like, hilarious. It's hilarious to me. But I'm not gonna front you for liking what you like, and you don't front me or anybody else for liking what we like. That's how this goes. That's how this works. Why do you think Capcom is putting so much single-player content in this Street Fighter? Is it maybe because Street Fighter 4 and 5 were, like, tarnished for being bare bones at launch and having almost no content, and people dropping the game and not playing it for months on end because there's nothing to freaking do except for go online? Did you ever think of that? Do you think they're going to waste all this time and development money and throw countless dollars that, like, are given directly by the financiers and by the publisher to, like, put into this mode that they're not sure is going to get a return on investment? You think that's how this works? Like, people don't understand, like, the back-end finance situation between video games and development. They just think, oh, the developers want to do something, so they do it. It's not what happens at all. These things are, like, not only discussed in board meetings, they're focus grouped, and then they have to get, like, literal financial aid for these things to be done. They have to prove that the money that they're putting into the mode, they're going to get back out of the mode in terms of investment. They have to look at past games and other projects that have similar content and see how much money they made. That's, like, what it is. Look at case in point, Soul Calibur 5. Soul Calibur 5's director wanted to model it after Street Fighter Third Strike and wanted to go into a completely esports route. So the story was cut by 75%, which was basically no story at all. They replaced all the characters that we beloved with new characters that had similar movesets that wouldn't matter if single-player content didn't matter, right? They're basically the same character. Why would you care? And the game failed. All its DLC content was canceled. The game almost killed the entire franchise. It actually did kill a franchise for a while. And, everyone, the fighting community got what they wanted. That's what it was, right? Now, there were definitely positives to that game, but look at what happened. Look how fast King of Fighters 15 died. King of Fighters 15 is leaps and bounds above 14 in every aspect, except it doesn't have a story mode. Like, why would you give a crap about, like, Orochi Iori if, like, you don't know who he is or why he got to be that way? Like, why would you care? Even so far as, like, Arc Sys games, like Arc System Works puts in their Guilty Gear games, they'll put like a freaking 5-hour movie that you can watch just to like understand the plot of why everyone's there and what's going on. Now, I actually don't like that approach. I like interactive stories where I can actually do stuff, so I think it would be easier to like watch that movie if you're breaking it up with fights, but that's just me. So there are wrong ways to go about this. Do you think people like the original Mortal Kombat trilogy better or the PS2 era, the 3D era, where it had the most characters, the most story, the most single-player content? Like, I don't understand where this argument's even coming from. And yes, this is even ranty, and I didn't want it to be ranty, but there's a lot of points to be made about it. Basically, when it comes down to it, single-player stories are incredibly important to fighting games. It's not even for us, it's for you. Like, the cool supers that you get to do, the cool combos that those characters do. Like, do you think Ryu, like, does his moves just out of the blue? Like, there's a reason that he uses those moves. There's a reason he does Hadouken, the Shoryuken, the Tatsumaki Senpuya. There's a reason all these moves are, like, actually part of their core system. It's like, well, if you're just playing as, like, the black-haired, like, Asian, like, ninja guy, or the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, red karate guy, like, you're not gonna care, but you don't understand that those are, like, Goken's, like, students, and they have, like, a specific style of martial arts that they learned, came from two different backstories, and became best friends. Like, literally, like, go their own separate ways and live their own separate lives while have each other's back in a heartbeat. Still trying to fight Shadow Lu, still trying to fight Seth, still trying to fight, like, any organization that pops up. Like, the characters and interlopers that come back in from, like, Interpol, whether it be Cammy, or whether it be, like, Sea Viper, or whether it be other third parties like Judy. Like, these are all characters that have personalities and backstories that lend to their costume designs, to their moveset designs, to their super designs, to their interactions with each other, to how they play, to how they move. Like, this is all story. This is all single-player content, built and baked into the character. But without the context, it means nothing. Without the context, Ken is just a homeless blonde guy that somehow knows, like, how to use, like, all these awesome martial arts. Without context, Ryu is just a wandering, like, gypsy vagabond who doesn't know how to do anything except for fight. That's literally just what I'm telling you. Like, you cannot like it, but to say it's not important is a totally different argument. You can say, I don't care about story, and I'll say, awesome. You can say, I don't care about their designs. Cool. I don't care about character creation. I don't care about customization. I don't care about any of these other single player elements during these games. You do you. You play online versus ranked all day, every day, get #1 spot. I'm never going to fault you for it. I'm even watch your content and learn how to do some of those combos, or like see what movements or steps you're taking, what defensive positions you can do, what maneuvers you can do. I will applaud you for how awesome you are at the game. But the second that you turn around and you crap on somebody else for liking a part of the same game that you're playing that you don't like or you don't care about, screw you. I'm just going to say it again. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know anything about gaming. You don't know anything about gaming culture. You don't know anything about writing or narration. You don't know anything about cinematography. You don't know anything about any of these things that go into making an insane cinematic experience for players to enjoy, to become bonded and love these characters. So, you telling me not to play the game, I'm going to turn around and tell you the same thing then. If all you want to do is fight, then go to the arcade. If you can find them. I mean, just fighting is so important, right? Where are all the arcades in America? Just fighting is so important, right? Story doesn't matter. That's why all the arcade ports get stories and take time for extra development, right? I don't know, bro. I'm just gonna like leave this here because like it's sincerely irritating me, but I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But before we finish the video, I want to get to the last video's poll real quick. Which part of Street Fighter 6 are you going to download since they will be separated? 64% of the people, with the overwhelming majority, said they're going to download all modes, which is good to see. 19% said none. 4% said World Tour, and 13% said Fighting Ground. This was only at a small data pool of 124 votes. That was since the last video, so it's only been a couple days. But that's what we do every time. I want to take a look at a few of the comments real quick that we got on those videos. SeanImage3634 says, I'd make room on my HD if I have to in order to enjoy everything Street Fighter 6 has to offer. Terrence Sproul says, I got room for all of them. I'll mostly play World Tour and Fighting Grounds. Online, no touch unless my friend grabs it, but they're waiting for Tekken 8. And then Morgan says, I'm spending $85. You better believe that I'm using all of it. And I have to agree with all of them. Those are just the first 3 comments. I didn't pick and choose through them. If you do comment on those polls, I do show them at the end of the video. So, I don't know, guys. Any and all thoughts are always welcome in the comments of this video, or on the comments of the weekly poll, or on my Discord, which is free to join. There's no limitations to it. We talk about a variety of things over there, so you don't have to just come in there thinking we're going to talk about one thing. But as I always say, guys, thank you for watching. I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.